Hello, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about Prime Day and how to get ready for Prime Day to make the most amount of sales and profit. So my name is Iani, I'm a seven-figure e-commerce seller. I've sold on Amazon, eBay, TikTok Shop, and our own website for years now. Personally done over 5 million in sales and now have a full-service Amazon agency called E-commerceville where we work with a little bit over 20 brands, many different categories from ranging from smaller sales doing 10,000 a month to even bigger sellers doing 500,000 and plus a month. We do all the listing creation, ads, everything that has to do with Amazon, we covered. We're basically your in-house marketing team when it comes to Amazon. So today I want to speak about something that is very current, and it's Prime Day and how to get ready for Prime Day and how to get the most amount of sales and the most amount of everything when it comes to Prime Day. Now, what is Prime Day? Prime Day is a special days. It used to be one day, but now it's more than one day. An example is July. Between the 8th and the 11th of July, it's all Prime Days. It's the longest event Amazon has done from Prime Days. It's basically a special day where people are aware months in advance that there will be special offers and special discounts. On a Prime Day, the traffic on Amazon goes through the roof. A lot more sellers are there, but that's where the danger is. How do you get ready for Prime Day? First, I would always talk about two camps. What is your goal from Prime Day? Prime Day is amazing if you want to get more sales and more customers. Prime Day is not great for profits. Usually on Prime Day, profits go down, as crazy as that sounds. For me in the agency and as a brand owner, one of the most important things is understanding what I want to do for Prime Day. If I really want to get new customers and scale sales, I'm prepared to make a loss or break even or a small profit on that day. Launching lightning deals, launching special deals, launching vouchers. But if I'm in the second camp of wanting to really have a good amount of profit and not be hurt by Prime Day profit-wise, I will do the opposite of what a lot of people do, and that is I will put a cap on my ads because I know naturally there'll be a lot more impressions, a lot more traffic, and a lot more people selling. So I know organically my listings will be seen a lot more than usually would be. But I also know because there'll be a lot more clicks, my ad spend will be through the roof. So make sure I'm capping that ad spend. I'll make sure that I wouldn't necessarily change the bits heavily because then you need to change them after the Prime Day. I would make sure I have a budget cap to make sure that I'm kind of stopping and kind of controlling the damage it can do. And I'll give you some examples. I've heard nightmare stories on Prime Days, people losing hundreds of thousands per day in ad spend because your sales are going up, but everything else is going up as well. If you want to not damage your profit a lot, put a cap on your ad spend, whatever you're comfortable with, so you know you're not really going after that. You will still have an increase in sales regardless if you put a cap or not. But when you're putting a cap, you're defending yourself. So how do you get ready for Prime Day? First, know what strategy you want to do. Are you really going for market push and market share and ad spend is not a big problem? Then okay, we understand that and we proceed that way. But first, make sure your listing is as optimized as possible. Make sure your main images and all the other images are checked, optimized, and refreshed. If something doesn't look great, make it look better. Check your conversion rate beforehand. Check your click-through rate. Check your impressions. You should always be checking this, but before Prime Day, check it even more. Check all of these things and make sure they're optimized. Optimize the title. If it's not optimized, well, make sure the keywords are there. Optimize your bullet points, make sure all the relevant keywords are there. There's about 200 characters in there, and make sure that it's relevant, smooth, and people can understand. Make sure A+ content, this is a big part. Make sure your A+ content, it's a great, beautiful landing page, and you're showing up as a premium brand and showing up as a professional, beautiful brand. I would even suggest to have A+ premium content. You should have it anyway if you can, but having it on Prime Day makes a difference. Once you've made sure your listing is optimized from the images to the keywords, to the backend keywords, to the SEO point, then go to the inventory. And this is something people miss. Plan for inventory. Make sure you have a lot of inventory, especially now in July when you're going to go from the 8th to the 11th with Prime Days. Expect to sell anywhere between 50 to 200% per day more. So stock accordingly. Make sure you have stock because the worst thing that can happen is you've optimized everything, your ads are done, your promotions, your deals are done, and then you don't have enough stock and you run out of stock. Don't do that. Make sure you have enough stock, a lot more than you would usually have for those days. If you're expecting 50 to 100% increase in the sales, I'll make sure I'm having at least double the inventory, I will have at any time, because then you have the momentum after the sales. Once you've checked the inventory, go to the ads. Make sure your ads are ready to go. Be careful of bits. If a lot of your ads are on dynamic bits up and down, where Amazon can increase up to 100%, be very careful because you will be very hurt on Prime Day. So make sure that is kind of protected. Also make sure you're, of course, as always, targeting the relevant keywords. And if you want to compete strongly, you might have to increase your bid for those days. I would suggest for you not to lose a lot of money on ads, I would suggest to kind of keep the bids as you usually are, because the last thing you want to do is have big losses on Prime Day. Because remember, on Prime Day, you have more traffic and more sales, even if you don't change anything. That's how powerful Prime Day is. But if you can change things as listing optimization and A+ content, your sales will be even more than they would normally be because of the level of traffic and people that are on Prime Day. So for ads, be careful with big bids. Be very careful with that because you can overspend heavily. Monitor your budgets. Make sure everything is optimized from that part. Once you've done the ads, then go to the deal parts. And this is very important. If you really want to push sales on Prime Day, deals are recommended. Have a Lightning deal, have a Prime Day deal, have a voucher deal. What to be very careful is the price of those deals and the fees of those deals. It can be very expensive. If you have a 20% margin and you're giving a 15% deal, that's going to be very tricky because ads plus the fee, it's going to really kill you. And again, here it's very depending what's your goal. If you're trying to get a lot of market share, do the Prime deals. If you're really not trying to push a lot of market share that day to really go crazy, I wouldn't even put Prime deals. Even as crazy as that sounds, because you will again repeat this, and I'll repeat it many times in this video, you will get more sales regardless of your price. I would suggest having a coupon. I would suggest to do even 5-7% coupon just to kind of show some type of discount and deal, but be very wary of deals as well. If you want to push market and if you want to really scale and get so many customers on Prime Day, yeah, do the deals, do as many deals as possible, but be very aware that can be very, very expensive. Depending on your size, it can be 5, 6, even 7 figures worth of spending in those days. Something to remember as well, the customers on Prime Day are not the best customers to have, as bad as that sounds. Why? Because Prime Day customers are customers that are looking for the best deals and the one-off deals. They're not really the customers that you usually have. So on days like Prime Day, the traffic increases so much, even people that are not really Prime members usually can become just for those days. So it's kind of the Black Friday feeling. So a lot of the sales and deals can really hurt you in the long term. You can get a lot of subscribe and save and then churn a lot of those subscribe and saves later on because of the special deals. Because remember, if you're promising someone something 15-20% discount, when you go back up 20% or 25% to your original price, a lot of them won't buy because a lot of the customers buying on Prime Day, they're there for the price and for the special deals, not for the brand. So be very aware of that. Prime Day is a very scary day if you're inexperienced. If you don't understand ads, listing optimization, listing creation, and you don't have a cap on your budget, Prime Day can be a nightmare for you. Now, if you understand that part, Prime Day can be great for you. But as I always say, be very wary. So if you don't have a limited money and if you don't have a limited budget and you want to kind of safeguard yourself, it's better to put a budget cap, as I mentioned earlier, to kind of protect yourself and know this is the maximum I'm going to spend on ads. Be careful with deals, be careful of vouchers because those can stack up very fast. Prime Day is an amazing opportunity if you understand it. If you don't understand it, and if you don't understand how to work in the Prime Day deal and you haven't optimized your listing, you haven't done the deals, if you want to acquire more customer, you don't know your strategy, you don't know your margin very well, you don't have the PPC strategy ready to go, I'll be very careful, not have big budgets because you can get hurt. But if you have the checklist prepared that I mentioned of having all your listings optimized, having your A+ content optimized, making sure your images are ready to go beautiful and are attracting people, having the conversion rate where you want it to be, having the PPC strategy where you want it to be, as we mentioned previously. Having inventory, which is a very important part, have a lot of inventory so you can sell. If you have all those checklists and if you're doing it well with strategy, Prime Day will be great for you. Just again, be wary of how expensive Prime Day can be. This is how I see it. If you get Prime Days wrong, but you get all the other days right, I'm very happy. Like really, if you get the Prime Days wrong and you don't do as well as you think you would and you don't squeeze everything you can, but you do all the other days very well, you'll be more than all right on Amazon. I hope you liked this video. A lot more to come. Stay tuned.